let's move to our next session, which is on positioning BPO as a digital superior, talent and continuing changing trends, which is taken by Dr. Nitin Barekere, who is a VP HR for 𝗕𝗂𝗺𝗵𝗃 Healthcare Management Services. Dr. Nitin is a seasonal HR professional with nearly 2 decades of rich and diverse experience in startup, MNCs, and family-managed conglomerates across India, the US, Africa, and GCC countries. Dr. Nitin professionals and consulting assignment on the full spectrum of HR management, have spent e-commerce, retail, aviation, ITC, and healthcare industry. He is responsible for talent acquisition, digital transformation, and change management practices for APAC region. On that note, please welcome Mr. Nitin on stage, please.
Good afternoon. I'm not going to take too much of time. Of course, my slides were, I wanted to, anyway. It's not going. With the paucity of time, I need to skip some of the slides, but nevertheless, we'll try to. Okay, so the topic is how do you position BPO in an ever-changing landscape for the digitally superior talent. And currently, I need to give a quick introduction about the company that I represent, and it's very critical because some of my slides is interrelated to the discussion that we are going to have. So I represent a company called 𝗕𝗂𝗺𝗃. We are in the space of providing data analytics, medical coding, and revenue cycle management for a lot of US insurance and healthcare companies. We have grown. We are a homegrown company, but we have become very, very large over the last couple of years, and we have reached a size of around 26,000 people as of today. And in the last 1 year, we did four acquisitions altogether, which is unheard of in an ITS space where we bought 4 companies. So the complexity has risen as a resultant of acquisitions because the cultures are different, the organizational tech stacks would be different, everything is going to be different. So how we seamlessly will integrate all this. Today we have presence in 3 geographies, US, Philippines, and in India. So that's important because, so I'll quickly skip this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to 𝗙𝗂𝗁𝗃 jargons, and I'm not going to give any prescription for anybody. I'm just going to share some of my experiences, perhaps, so that don't give too much of emphasis on the content. I think as long as you get the context, I'm happy as a takeaway for today's presentation. All right, so I just want to start this journey because the way we look at things is that the pandemic actually inflicted a lot of good things also into the world, because today people are not very scared of technology. People have actually started embracing technology, and it wouldn't have been possible. My grandmother can actually perhaps use a WhatsApp, she can use a Zoom, she can make a Zoom call, etc. So that has kind of created a lot of positive orientation towards how one looks at technology and how one actually looks at technology. Similarly, necessity is the mother of all invention. 2, 3 takeaways that have happened out of this pandemic. First thing is, somebody said that we started with basic processes and then we moved up the value chain, we have now become a strategic partner, etc. The biggest revelation happened after the pandemic, because that's when the time that most of the companies themselves did not have any operations because the world had come to a standstill. And it was only the BPM companies which were actually supporting the end customers of each of the client companies that you were representing. So that's the first time, I think that's the wake-up call for them to smell coffee and start realizing that, look, this is the important role this organization, each of our business associates are playing for me. And that's the evidence that we have actually reached a position of being a strategic partner. Now, earlier, we never adapted technology because there were a lot of reasons. We could find complacency, we would give a lot of reason code. I don't have resources, I don't have cost, I don't have wherewithal, I don't have a need, whatever, till cows come home. So that is one. But we have seen that technology is the fulcrum of the BPO, because without technology, there's absolutely nothing that each one of us can do in our own workspaces. So that's given. It has stood the test of time, because When the pandemic hit, each of us were trying to figure out how do we ship the laptops, how do we manage our assets, how do we manage our telephony, how do we manage 100 things, right? So we have actually done that. And we have discussed this. So new workforce models, which I covered in my earlier discussion, also has emerged. We wouldn't have probably thought, I mean, these are things that would happen in the US. We never thought that we will sit at home and probably actually work. So the need for digital convergence, right? So why is it so important? You will become irrelevant if you are not digitally savvy. That's the first thing. How are you going to gain your competitive advantage? As I said earlier before, today the incoming talent is looking at not a sunset days. They are looking at a sunrise opportunity. They are looking at organizations where they can build a long-term career, or at least they can take a lot of learnings which they can leapfrog into their next career operations. Now, if that opportunity is not given, absolutely we will be reduced to, we will be in a catastrophic phase in terms of our acquisition. Anything and everything that we do in the company is dependent on the talent that is incoming and that is already available within the system. So it's very, very important for us to actually build the talent supply pipeline. Without the talent, of course, somebody actually, one of our other fellow speakers actually made a very nice slide in terms of who is the employee of the month. The employee of the month is one of the robots, right? The employee of the month, probably I would extrapolate and say that the employees of the month was the person who actually built that robot. That's how I look at it. Now, the aspirations of people have changed as well, right? Today, if you are going and engaging in the marketplace, and somebody said, why don't you democratize? Why don't we actually look at an opportunity for people to work wherever they want, etc., and all that? Please understand there are two fundamental things which drive this. One is your customer ready to give that option? Because none of my customers who are in the healthcare industry is ready to give that option. They're used to, and they are governed by data loss, which is prevalent in the US. When the pandemic hit, they put the data loss in the cold storage. Now it is near normal world. They have brought it out. So they are saying that I don't have that opportunity to go against the laws that are there in the country. As a resultant of which, what I do not get from my client, there is absolutely no way I can pass that as a benefit to anybody else. So I think that we need to get that thing right. So it is lovely to actually think about gig economy, etc., and all that. Gig economy may happen. I am not a soothsayer. We cannot predict the future. The supply and the demand dynamics is going to determine whether gig economy will take off or it will not take off. Imagine a situation where you have to go back to the customer and say, hey, none of the people in India actually ever want to come to the office henceforth. Try this. And I'm sure that all the companies will go, whatever lobbying they have to do in the US Congress, they will go and do it and ensure that they will get that law passed, that you can sit anywhere on the Himalayas and still give the support, right? Till these two things happen, it is only foolhardy to expect, and I can give, great speeches, but that's not the reality. So that we need to be cognizant of. How do you manage the flight risk? If you don't give a great importance in terms of actually engaging with the talent, be 100% sure that the person is actually going to go away. So we are today talking about customer experience. Hello, these are your internal customers who are sitting right in front of us. Why don't we actually look at internal customers first? It's important. Unless, and what do we look at in an organization? Talk any of our technology friends. 100 times they will come and tell me, how I wish I have more clones like you who can talk technology with that kind of a confidence. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to create fellow beings who can actually voice and be a miniature of us so that they can be the change agents in the company. And that's exactly what we need to do. Even if you want to give a great customer service, let us give great employee experience first. So that's what I'm talking. So what are the essential ingredients if you really want to embrace technology? First, do you have the appetite to take risk? Because many people do not take any risk. So what if the input does not change, don't expect the output to change. Are you prepared to do rapid experimentation? Are you prepared to fail? Failure is a part of your success story. Unless you are prepared for it, don't expect anything. Is your leadership committed? Most of the time, we pass the buck on to the leadership. Leaders love to be told a story that they can consume. How many of you are great storytellers who can create a beautiful story in terms of what are the takeaways and what are the value adds that you can go and give for an organization? Is it going to improve the throughput? Is it going to improve the efficiency? Is it going to reduce the cost? Is it going to give you access to larger talent pool? There has to be some story, otherwise don't expect the leaders to come to your rescue. That's not going to happen. Next is investment, right? Investment again is a very notional thing. Today, technology is very, very cheap. And I'm telling you, I go to the market with no shame. I go and talk and hold hands with anyone, and try to actually strike a conversation, understanding in terms of what is the technology stack that you have built. And if it is useful, I will embrace it. Another thing is, somebody actually made that lovely presentation where they said that, I think, if I'm correct, Lakshman actually made that presentation where he said that, look, a lot of them are value seekers. I am one of that value seeker. Because I normally don't talk to the American customers who have done some fantastic, they may have a great product, but I talk to the Indian startups. You know what? They give me at a fraction of a cost. Because the US companies will talk to me in dollar value. I don't have that luxury. I talk to the startups to ensure that I embrace the technology which is available right next door. So, are you having a culture of learning? Are you ready to actually keep learning eternally? So, we got two options, as I said earlier. You can be proactive, you can be reactive. On the other side of it, first important thing for you to do is, first you need to know what you want. Many of us don't know what we want, honestly speaking. If you know what you want, then it is very easy to articulate to your technology partner that, hey, can you come to my rescue? This is what I'm looking at and what are probable options that we can brainstorm. So that's important. So what is the ideal? So it is essential for you to prepare a document saying, this is my current state, this is my desired state, how do I get there? And please talk to your technology partner if you are not very confident, because they are there to actually support you and help you. All it requires is a visit to the cafeteria along with them. So fully implemented automation, artificial intelligence, I'm not too savvy about all these technology terms because, I try to simplify things, right? So if you simplify, I think the essence of the game is always there. So do you have a business case? Do you have an endorsement? Do you have a collaboration? Do you have a game plan? And go and execute. And fruits of the labor is for you to see. This is the HR roadmap. I don't want to bore you to death. This is typical. Okay, every HR fellow will come and say, I'm going to promise, I'm going to change the world around you, etc. and all that. But that's the ideal stage. Because we believe that everything happens twice in life. First it happens in your mind, then it happens in real life. Even if you are building a great technology structure, first you are thinking in your mind that this is what the end output is going to be. And then it happens. It takes shape. It takes birth. Same thing here. We want to attract the talent. We want to enable the talent. We want to retain the talent. And how do you do it? Innovate and build future-ready people practices. So it's great on a slide, but how do we achieve this, right? First, we need to understand. I'll take quick 5 minutes to explain. This is very important. All of us are busy talking, pulling our hair in terms of what is the next step we want, etc. and all that. But how do you marry psychology with technology is most important aspect. Do you have that guts to actually marry the psychology and technology? Look at this incoming talent today. This is the Generation Z, whatever name you want to call it, right? But today, they are very entitled. When I used to be small, I used to visit my grandparents and I used to meet all my cousins. Today, I don't think my daughter has the luxury to meet any of her cousins at the whim, right? I used to wear the clothes of my elder brothers. I don't think any of us now today are wearing that. Why? Because the evolution has happened around us. The families from a joint family has moved to a very nucleus family. Today's kids are entitled. Whatever they ask, they get. It is me generation. I am at the core of your life. I am irresponsible, shallow, lazy, impatient. You give whatever definitions you want. This is the truth, right? Now, you need to understand how they are growing up, what is their mindset, what is their work culture, and what is that they are looking for. I'll show it in the next slide. This is how we are treating the youngsters today, right? I mean, not you, their parents apparently, but these are the fellow colleagues that you will be working in the company. Hey, you are very special. What do you want? You will get it. If you want one masala dosa, take a snap today, they will put it in Facebook and they want his friend to say, Macha, lovely masala dosa. Because they want an endorsement from their peers. I don't think in the good old days we would go, take a Kodak photograph, camera, take a photograph of masala dosa, go to this thing, develop a photo and post it to my colleague and say that, see, this is the dosa I had in Sarvana Bhavan. I don't think we ever did that. Low peers, personal validation, you see everybody is hooked onto their mobile phone. Why do you think that is happening? Because there is very less peer-to-peer interaction. Instant karma. Everybody believes there is no future, there is no rebirth, nothing. Whatever I do, it has to happen this day. Then today, everybody will ask million questions to you. What is my salary? How soon can I get promoted? When will I retire? Do you have golden handshake? Everything they will ask at the time of even entering into the company. Okay? So this is what it is. This is the new norm. YOLO. That means you live only once. Okay, that is the new definition of karma. What am I doing in this planet? What is the value add? Why did God actually make me get birth in this planet? That's what it is. Keep calm, nothing is impossible. Okay, like 𝗕𝗵𝗁𝗁 Industries, no dream too big, that is their tagline. Okay, am I going to get work-life balance? Beautiful work-life balance I want. Am I going to make serious impact? What is the impact I can create? And lastly, where is my sense of achievement? If you don't give this, don't expect anything. But look at the reality. When they come into the company, hey, hello, you are another brick in the wall. All along, as parents, we thought, you should get first rank. You try getting 8th rank and see what your parents will tell you. What happened to you? Who is first in the class? Why did you come 8th? Now suddenly, when he comes into the company, he has to work with a 50th rank fellow. Because both of them are colleagues suddenly. He is first rank, he is 50th rank. Come on, both of you hold hands, start working together. All along you have said that you are different, you are different. Suddenly you are saying he is your fellow buddy. How is it possible? That is the truth. So you are one brick on the wall. Sense of isolation, nobody has time, everybody is busy. Inability to stand lasting relationship, that's why you have got attrition problem. Longer, today I told you, in 3 months somebody will say, sir, can I get my promotion? Okay, so that is instant karma for them, right? Sense of low success because the managers don't have time. Please help yourself. Okay, so do you have these two things? When you are designing technology is all great, but are you looking at your culture and your talent? Is it that fulcrum that you are looking at, or you are building for your own glory? Because like, some of you will have the fad that if my dad sponsors, I will have a collection of cars because I am not sponsoring for it, somebody else is sponsoring. So how do you look at his physical, emotional, spiritual, social and financial wellness? So you need to look at technology only as a lever to fulfill this ambition. Technology itself is not a goal, it is only an enabler. Please look at it. And another thing is, do you have the competence to build it in-house or you want to get it from outside? Okay? So sometimes it is easier to build it in-house because you get frustrated to tell somebody outside. Okay? Okay, this is a case study, a quick one, which I explained to you. Suddenly our company calls and says, Eureka, we have won a great award, we have won a lot of customers, 5,000 people, Dr. Nitin, get 5,000 people, I don't care. And this is cutting across all industry cycles, cutting across geographies, 5,000 people have to be delivered. How do you deliver? Go and figure it out. So this is what we have actually done. This is a real case scenario. So first we went to the drawing board and said, hey, what are we going to do? First 2 days we didn't eat, we didn't sleep. We were only trying to figure out how the heck are we going to even make it happen, right? So we said that we are going to write a lot of storyboards. So we looked at internal teams and said, who is a good story writer? You write lovely stories. Your job is to write beautiful job description. Your job is to write beautiful, compelling advertisement campaigns. You do that. Okay, you are great in doing something else. You know what? You manage all vendors. Go and find out another 25 new vendors who can give me people when I blow the whistle. That is his job. Third fellow, come here. You are great. Social media, go ahead and do all the social campaign. You want performance marketing campaign, do it. Load it on the carousel. Take the content fellow, will give you the content. You put the timetable on the content as to what has to get published on what day. Push it on the social media. Let every world know that we are hiring 5,000 people. Okay, RPO. So let us go and talk to Kellys of the world, bullies of the world, manpowers of the world, any power of the world, let us go and get them, engage them, put them on the job. So similarly, we put an ATS, which is a bot, which can go, and we went to all the remote campuses. Every college will say, come to the campus. Where is the campus? Campus is in 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏. By the time I send somebody, you know what is going to be the thing. Next morning, my boss is asking a question, how many people did we hire yesterday? So there is no question of me sending somebody to 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏. So I sent the bot to actually do the interview. So the bot sitting here will do the interview, first round screening for everybody. We trained the bot in the natural language processing. It will ask a question like a real human being. It will do at a 90% accuracy. It did the first round of screening that this guy can think great, this guy has got great language, this guy has got great mental capability. Take him for the next round of interview. That is how we have achieved this progress. So that's why I'm talking with confidence that this is what we have done, right? So all the social media campaigns, career fairs and employer branding, building our own internal capabilities. With this, I'm not going to take it in detail, but this is what it is as a case study in terms of what we have done, line by line, in terms of how we have achieved the pole position. Similarly, brought in state-of-the-art ATS, lot of dissimilar systems. We had an ERP, but ERP is for the work processes. So if you want to actually do one job push into social media, into job portals, etc., it's impossible. So we replicated and made sure that all dissimilar systems start making love to each other. Okay, that's very important. Now you cannot say that, whatever you aspire for in the childhood, one gulab jamun I want sudden, it will not come in your real life. You may keep on talking about it, somebody else will not deliver it for you. Better go shop in the market, see which one you can marry and try to see and how do you integrate these dissimilar systems. That's what we have done. That's the parting shot. Any questions? Please let me know. Thank you.